VLPSos here. This is a video lesson for Python programming the random module. These videos are made with the intention that they can be paused so that you can practice. The random module introduces a lot of functions that can be fun to use. Remember, functions that are not a part of the standard library need to be imported. Introducing random elements into a programming can be fun. So we import the module called random to give us access to functions that can choose or create random effects. The first is we're going to get a random integer with the function called rand range. And we're going to print the results from the random module using this function rand_range, in which we need to then supply two integer values, which is going to be the interval of integers that we can have our function select from. So we'll go from 0 to 10, but the upper bound can't be selected. The upper bound is the stopping point. So we can expect to see a number 0 through 9, but not including 10. 10 is where the list stops. If we run our program, happen to be 8 this time. If we run our program again and print that result, it could be 8, but it's likely to be something different. This time we see a 7. Rand_range requires a lower and upper bound integer. The required integer can be anything in between or the lower bound, but never the upper bound. It's the way that it works, not just for this range, but ranges and intervals in computer code often does not include the upper bound for reasons that will be touched upon when we get a little more sophisticated understanding of how computers work. Here's another example. I'm going to assign the value of number to be 0 and then start a while loop on the condition of number not equaling 1. So number is equal to 0, and while number is not equal to 1, and if it's equal to 0, then at the beginning of this loop it's not equal, so we will run the code block at least once. We're going to reassign the value of number to be something random using this rand_range function. This time we're going to choose a number between 0 and 101, which means that we can get anything including 0 in between 0 and 101, but not 101. And then we will print a new random number and include the number that was just selected. Then something outside, an empty print statement to give us a space once this while loop has ended. So anticipate what we may see before we see it. We saw quite a few new random numbers. In this list, the last number was 1 because once number was reassigned to be 1 that was chosen randomly, then this condition was false, which ended our loop. Every single time we run this program, we will always have the last new random number be 1 that comes up that ends the loop. But the number of times that we select is going to change. That time it looked like it found the 1 at random faster than the first time we ran the program, quite a bit faster. We can simulate percentage outcomes. I'm going to reassign role to come from the random range function again. In this case, from 0 to 101, similar to before, and then print in this case, I'm going to use the formatting. In the string. I've typed a bunch of leading zeros, so when I redo that, I've got my string. I'm using the squiggly parentheses, which is a way of formatting. And the reason why I'm choosing to do that, but I'm having trouble typing, is because I want the percent to show up in the print line. So the percent symbol can't be used in the formatting where it's used as a symbol for variable or value replacement. And then an empty line, we can see how this goes. In this case, the chance of success was included with the print, and it happened to be randomly 27, which came from this assignment of role. And note, the format was used because the percent sign is problematic in the other manner of formatting. And moving on, we can use math to get fractional results. So if I wanted a percent to be not the integer percent, but something between 0 and 1, then I could get the same, use the same random number generator to assign role, but then when we print it, instead of printing it as a percent, putting it as a float, in this case I'll change the format to a %f, and then supply the value of role, but divide it by 100 to turn it into a float, and then an empty line. In this case, we saw the chance of success as a decimal. Fun use of the random module are the functions that help us choose from a list. For example, we could have a list of prizes. Defining the list and as the variable prizes, we could have a teddy bear as a string in the list, gold coin, lump of coal, which is defining a list, and then I could assign to another variable that we'll call prize from the random module the function choice, which will select something at random from the list that we give it in its argument parameters, and then print the result. In this case, U1A, and then a string symbol that will be replaced in the formatting by the prize, or the variable that got assigned the value that was chosen randomly, and then an empty print line for spacing. Running the program, a teddy bear was won. I could win it again, but if I run it again, I got a teddy bear. Let's see if I win a teddy bear the third time. I did, and quite a short amount of trials to get that one in the first example. I keep winning teddy bears. Let's see if I win something different. Oh boy, a lump of coal. So we can see that the random randomization is working. Let's provide one more example. Now we could say with the comment, sky's the limit with what you can do, especially with choice. For example, I'm going to run a while loop on the simplest condition true, so the while loop will continue to run indefinitely. The only way to get out of this loop is to break, use the keyword break, because it's impossible to change this condition. It's not assigned to a variable. But we will have a variable called selection1 equal to random choice. And the choices that we're going to give it is a list to select from, but the only thing in that list is an X and an O string. I'm going to copy this line and I'm going to paste it twice. I'm going to change the selections so that I've got 3 distinct selections being made, 3 different variables. So it's the same choice from an X or an O, but I've got 3 different choices to look at. And then I'm going to have a condition. If selection 1 is equal to selection 2, which is equal to selection 3, which is a compound condition to test whether they're all equal to each other, and at the same time all equal to X. And this condition is only going to be true if I randomly, or the computer randomly selected for all 3 selections X at the same time, or in the same iteration of this while loop. If that's the case, that they're all X's, then I'm going to print the outcome with a format. Using the format, I've got 3 placeholders, and then also the report U1, trying to capitalize those. And the placeholders in the formatting will be the selections. So these 3 will be replaced by the values of the selections. And that's only on condition that all selections are X. And if that's the case also, as well as printing that I won, I'm going to use the keyword break, which will immediately break us out of the loop that's doing this selecting. But if they are not all the same, my else condition will print the same thing, but it's not going to tell us that we won. And the code block of the else will not include the break, which means that if I don't win by getting all X's, then I'm going to continue to remain in this while loop, which means I'm going to select and keep selecting and printing until I do win. Let's see the result. I may have won right away. That's astonishing. Let's run again. I didn't win right away, but I won rather quickly. There were 2 iterations of the while loop that did not get all X's. And it appears that I won right away again, which again is astonishing. The probability is 1 out of 8. I need to get 1 out of 2 to the third 1 out of 8 times. So there is a 12.5% chance of winning each time, so winning right away isn't that amazing, but we can see that trials did progress until there was a 3X's win. There is much, much more available in the random module. What you have here should keep you busy for a while. And now you. You saw how random.choice was used to make a selection from a list. Write a simple program that asks the user a question like, do you like sushi? Keep it simple. And gives a random response to the user based on their input. Have fun.